Hello, humans. If you are listening to this transmission, you are probably human and not a subhuman. So thanks for coming. Welcome to the club. I've got lots of good stuff to share with you today or tonight. I have not streamed in a while because I've been traveling in what many people consider the worst time to travel. Greetings, JA, and everyone else. Thanks for coming. So, I'll first just share where I've been a while. So I was in Hong Kong for 2 months. I don't know why, but that's where I was. I was in China. I wanted to leave China, and I was like, don't want to go to America and can't really go anywhere else, but I'm allowed to go to Hong Kong because of, the situation, the political situation, basically. And I know people there. I have good friends there. So I had a fun little vacation for 2 months. And then I was like, well, now what? I can just stay here, waste more money, and wait for the rest of the world to open up, which I don't think is going to happen, especially in Europe. I'm trying to go to Europe, and I think they're going to stay closed, mostly closed for a long time, especially to non-European citizens and residents. So I ended up coming back to America, and it's actually totally fine. And I'm really happy to be back, which is, I think, the first time that's happened since I moved to Thailand and Asia in general in 2014. I came back in the past 6 years 2 times. This is my 3rd time coming back to America, I think. And this is the only time where I've been like, oh, yeah, it's totally fine being back here. And it's kind of nice, actually. Being away from the city is nice. I'm here on Cape Cod, which is a peninsula of Massachusetts near the beach. But anyway, look, here's what I'm saying. What I've learned, one of the great blessings from 2020 and COVID-19 is that everyone and everything is really fucked up. Pardon my American there, but like seriously, there's a few countries like Tanzania or Belarus that are saying loud and clear to the world, this is a hoax. We're not going to play this stupid WHO scam thing you're doing here. We're going to do whatever the hell we please. There's like 5 countries in the world doing that, and the rest of us are totally screwed. And so now we're all on an equal playing field. So actually, for me, from a cultural and ethical standpoint, the Great Reset has already happened for me, actually. It's already here. So that's awesome. I want to share a few more specific things about my journey back. So I left Hong Kong September 2nd at 2 a.m. Lots of lucky numbers there. And it was also almost a full moon. And I knew that there was something special about that. I've never noticed this before. Like when I buy plane tickets and do these sorts of planning, I do actually look at the numbers and I try to make it nice. Like it's not something I'm serious about. Like I'm a little superstitious, I guess, but yeah, I'm not like strict about it or anything. But this time, because there's not that many flights, I just wanted a good flight. So I chose to go to Doha from Hong Kong and then to Boston from Doha with Qatar Airways the whole way there. And this was just the best flight to go on because they weren't getting canceled. There's many transit flights in Doha Airport is maybe the busiest airport in the world right now. So if you are traveling, I would totally recommend going through Doha and Qatar Airways because they, um, yeah, I saw their president actually speak about COVID-19 and their plan like months ago. They've been planning to really be a a star player in the international realm for air traveling now, and that's great for me. They all did a great job. Um, Going through security and everything in Hong Kong was a piece of cake. My Uber driver going to the airport was awesome. I made a new friend. Um, I didn't have to fill out any forms when I came from China to Hong Kong. I had to fill out a really long exit form for China and then show my QR code before even going into security. And then I needed an entry form for Hong Kong and then a QR code for that. And they needed a 14-day hotel booking confirmation in Hong Kong before I could even check in my luggage. It's like, and that was a mess, dude, and a huge layover in Shanghai. So that short flight, that really short journey, which is normally like a 2-hour flight from Quanzhou in Fujian to Hong Kong, um, ended up being a massive ordeal. Whereas going Hong Kong to Boston, which is a 10-hour flight followed by like a 14-hour flight, was totally fine. And because, um, they're not filling up planes now, but like there's enough people on these Qatar Airways flights where they're not canceling the flights, but there's also enough free space where you have the whole row to yourself. So I could actually get some sleep during these flights, which is like awesome. JA wants to go to Hong Kong. I'm sure his parents liked it. Yeah. So one thing a lot of people say about Hong Kong is it's like the New York City of Asia. It's very New York. It's like smells like New York. The apartment buildings look the same. It's got a very, I don't want to say international. It's a very specific demographic of people who are living in Hong Kong. There's Cantonese, and then like rich mainlanders that are trying to get away from that stuff. And they, like my guest house, all the guest houses I've stayed at, they weren't local Hong Kongers. They're just people who have a bunch of extra money and they like just are laundering it basically into a business in Hong Kong. And then there's Indians, a lot of Indians in Hong Kong, and then British or other Anglo-Saxon white people. Those are the main groups in Hong Kong, and everyone else is a tiny minority. So it's really interesting. Like compared to China, like it's a lot different. I'm not like I'm still a foreigner there, but I'm not like totally surrounded by only one kind of people I'm not fully enveloped, right? Um, So, oh my God, and I was so lucky. Like, the hotels now are really cheap in Hong Kong. So, I stayed in the best area in the whole city, um, for 5,000 Hong Kong dollars a month, which is maybe $708 US dollars. Nearby was like this, a boulanger, which is, I never heard of this before. It's like a patisserie, but not for pastry. It's more for bread. So the quality French cuisine. I tried some Michelin star meals. Oh, it was very good. Um, Another thing I learned about Hong Kong. Yeah, so I may get in trouble for this with the libertarian, whatever right wing kind of Western people, but I fully do not support Hong Kong democracy. Because why? Because Hong Kong people suck. And I think they're weak and pathetic, and I don't think they deserve freedom and democracy. That's it, period. Like, I love the idea. I love the system of freedom, democracy. Oh, yeah, so on. But like, these people are really degraded. Like, all of that international and British influence has really messed up their culture. Hong Kong is the only place in Asia I've been besides Thailand where there's a lot of homosexuals everywhere and very few children. Nobody's making families there in Hong Kong. So there's a lot of old people who can barely walk who are on the street. Like, it's sad. It's a sad situation. Whereas in mainland China, sure, there's horrible things happening in Xinjiang and other places, but in 90% of China, you see good people with cute little babies and children running around. Let's go to the park. Everything's happy. Yay. And there's the only like grievances are actually pretty minor. Like, the kids do have a ton of homework. That was a bummer for me because, but they're good kids and they're good people. So like, my students last year, they would fall asleep in class commonly, but it wasn't because they like were disrespecting me. It's because like they're they go to school like 8 a.m., sometimes to 8 p.m. every day. Like, they do the full to 5 p.m. school day, and then they have extra school after that, and then 2 hours of homework every day. And they just like, if you're not giving them something crazy, fun, and engaging, they're gone. They're done. And they're not mad about it either. So I was just, I played the cool guy, the cool teacher, and all the other local teachers are like that too. They have good teachers there too, so it's really not that bad. And the more I think about it, the more I realize, why did I leave China anyway? Well, I mean, because I was going to leave eventually. I just figured I would leave now. Looking in hindsight, it was kind of dumb. I should have stayed one more year and wait for the COVID-19 thing to fly over. But the upside is now I got to have a vacation in Hong Kong. I'm chilling here in Cape Cod, which is awesome. And I may soon be in Taiwan with my dream job in my dream country. And probably be able to play judo. Like, so it could be way better. And look, I don't have any regrets. Such is the life of the virtuous man. There's no regrets. So I can never complain. I do the best I can with what I have when I have it, and then the rest is just whatever happens. So could I cook in my room in Hong Kong? No, I could not. And it was a tiny room. But considering how bad so many other things could be, I was actually really grateful. The price was great, and the guest house was all to myself. So the common area outside my bedroom was all mine, and the refrigerator and freezer was all mine. Nobody else was living there. So a lot of times I didn't even lock my door to my bedroom. I would just, there's the bolted main door in the hallway where the elevator is. That would automatically lock shut, and that was fine for me. I just remember the code. Didn't even need a key to go anywhere throughout the whole city. So for those who are interested, I posted every single picture I took for this Hong Kong holiday. I call it Hong Kong Corona holiday. This is my blog post, but this is on Blogger and not on my website. So I will put that in the chat right now. And you know what? We will also, Blogger freaking changed all of their display. Like, you can only You can only edit the thing. You can't go to see what it looks like for other people, but I just figured it out. So let's take a look. Here we are, Campy's blog. Campy is an old family nickname for me based off Campanella. My father and grandfather were often called Campy by their friends. But don't call me Campy. Unless you're my good friend, fuck off. That's a special name. So, this is really funny. This was in Shanghai airport and my layover going to Hong Kong. Totally empty, totally sterile, sanitized like every other airport. And there's this zombie dude like, in this full-on hazmat suit, like, oh my God, we're about to die. Everyone's going to die. And then this is, so after you land, they process you. After you land in Hong Kong airport, this is in the Asia World Expo building, which is like right next to the airport. I had to hang out in one of these desks for like 6 hours waiting for my test result, which was of course negative. This freaking sandwich, they gave, this was their complimentary sandwich test to show how generous they are. Fake bread, fake cheese, fake meat, super unhealthy. This is jail food. This is literally what they serve to you in prison. And I'm not going to tell you how I know that. Oh, yeah. And then I finally got free. This is from the taxi to my hotel. This car, this is like $1 million supercar. Crazy rare. There's like 25 of these made in the whole world. And Hong Kong is full of supercars. Crazy, cool, awesome supercars. One day I saw 2 black McLarens, like a different model McLaren, same color, 2 different times, or different color, 2 different times in the same day within a few hours of each other on the same block. Like that's how many, that's so rare. That won't happen anywhere else in the world. Hong Kong also has the best skyline in the world. You can see this in a lot of movies. This tallest one is, of course, in The Dark Knight, the Batman movie. My camera quality isn't spectacular, but this is, so what you're looking at here is actually the main island, Hong Kong Island. Where I was staying was not actually on the Hong Kong Island. It's actually part of mainland China, but it's just, it's within Hong Kong zone. But it's actually, you can just take a bus all the way, or the subway even, from Shenzhen, China, all the way to where I was staying in Kowloon or Jiulong, 9 Dragons. Went on a little beach trip. Oh yeah, one special thing about Hong Kong, which you can't do anywhere else in the world, I think, you can take the public transport to a beach and then hike a mountain in the same day. All like very easily on the public transport without any local language required. Yeah, there's not much else here. Oh, this is another famous apartment block you can see in movies because it like looks really cool. It's called like the Rainbow District or something. Mostly food pics. I love being foodie. Oh, this was so funny. Due to the serious condition of, quote, COVID-19, unquote, all people wear masks. I just thought it was so, like they put the quotes there. It's probably just a translation error because, English isn't their first language for many of the people here. But I thought, I don't know, is that a wink? Is that a wink wink to the hoax situation? I don't know. Beautiful comment from J.A. Yes, that prison sandwich sure is lovely. Yes, and you're right. Regret is pointless unless you've done something horrendous. Was it easy to get veggie food in Hong Kong? Yes, that's another reason I was really happy to be there for a couple months, more than China. So actually where I lived in China, Quanzhou is it's a really cool city. It's Marco Polo stayed there for a while. It was a very multicultural. It's a trade port city along the coast. So for centuries in Quanzhou, you'd have Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, Chinese, like all these people living in the same city peacefully because they were trading with each other. It was all about money, right? But the by side effect of that, you get all these cultures living together, and religious freedom became a big deal in Quanzhou. So um, you get a lot of Buddhist temples and vegetarian restaurants in Quanzhou. And they're pretty good. Like they're technically vegetarian, but a lot of them will also add chemicals, food additives, and stuff. And it's like it's also their idea of vegetarian, which will often include eggs as well, which I kind of try to avoid, but not a big deal that much anyway. But yeah, in Hong Kong, it's like any other big, like, oh my god, dude, the grocery stores there were really amazing. Actually, we had a lot of stuff from New Zealand. They had these juices that were like 100% pure, like just fresh apples and honey and ginger and stuff. And oh my god, it's a little expensive, but like the quality was just like it's world-class quality for so much stuff in Hong Kong. I don't really like the culture, but the material aspect of Hong Kong is quite advanced. It's a world-class city. IKEA, that's you got to go there. Oh yeah, this is a great view from a hike we did at night. And it's really hot and humid in Hong Kong. So even at night, sweating bullets. This is the full moon I saw before going on the airplane back to Boston. Oh, this is so cool. This is a laser show they do at 8 p.m., maybe every night or just on some nights. So these lasers from these skyscrapers are crazy powerful. Like the picture here from my phone does not do it justice. And it's from the big one. Like there's a lot of other lasers that you can't see in the picture here. And then from my side, where I'm taking the picture, the buildings behind me are also shooting lasers towards the other side of the coast here. So this acquires a bit of a crowd, and yeah, it's cool. It was a really nice break actually compared to what I was used to in China. Here's another unique thing about Hong Kong: ice creameria dolce Japonese. So it's Italian Japanese ice cream. I don't even know how that makes sense, but it's like it was just crazy delicious. It's like Japanese style, but like gelato, something like that. Yeah, yeah, JA, you're right. Like the vegetarian situation in Quanzhou is similar to like Thailand and other places. It's similar to like a somewhat rural place in Thailand. But if you go to like Chiang Mai or Bangkok, you can find like, really good veggie restaurants that are like well written down in English and somewhat standardized. But actually for most of China, if you're in any other city or smaller city, it's actually a bit difficult to get veggie. It's more sketchy. Like Chinese love meat in the same way that the Thais love spice. So if you order som tam, a spicy salad in Thailand, and you say, "My pet, no spicy," they will give you one chili pepper because to them, not spicy means a little spicy because everything like has to have spice. So it's happened to me in China where I'll order my favorite dish, yuxiang qiezi, which is like a riverside eggplant. It's sometimes translated. It's a mostly vegetarian dish of eggplant that looks like fish swimming in oil, and it's kind of sweet. It's a really good dish from Sichuan. But sometimes I'll add some minced beef, just a little tiny bit of crumbles in there. And I told them in Chinese specifically, 不要吃肉,不可以吃肉. And like I saw her, like she understood me, she wrote it down, and it came back and there's still meat on it. And then I told her, I was like, I told you no meat, remember? And she's like, yeah, I remember, but this is, come on, it's just a little. It's like, no, that's not how this works. It's just not part of their culture, so they're not used to it. Here's my buddy Dave. I met Dave randomly in Thailand a few years ago, and then we just somehow managed to stay friends, stay in contact, and actually hung out with him almost every weekend. Oh yeah, another cool thing about Hong Kong, these malls. You just wander into a building and then it extends into a mall that goes 5-10 floors up, and it's just everywhere. This city is littered with these malls. This is a Japanese store, huge watermelon, Don Don Donkey. Here's another thing, Gindako. The only restaurant in the world I've been to that makes Japanese food better than what I had in Japan. I never thought that would ever happen in my life. And bam, it totally happened in Hong Kong. This is another gem where I'm like really happy to find that. Looking at the comments. Rice cake ice creams. I don't remember seeing any of those. Rice cake ice. Is that ice cream flavored like rice cake, or is it ice cream mixed with rice cake? Either way, I don't think I saw either of those. Like at that place I went to, the Dolce Japonese, it was like it's mostly soft serve, which is a common thing in Japan, and fruit. It was soft serve and fruit. So one thing that someone next to me got is a melon, a cantaloupe melon, and then they just like they hollow out a hole and fill it with soft serve ice cream, and it just looks all cute, right? But it's just ice cream and fruit. It's pretty simple. Mochi. Yeah, I know mochi. Definitely mochi. Wait a second. There's matcha. There's a lot of matcha ice cream, but mochi, I know what mochi is. That's like the glutinous rice. Maybe, I don't remember. This was awesome. Here's another great thing about Japan. Butt cleaners. By Toto, of course. This is a portable bidet from Toto. This is around $100. So I didn't buy this one. I mean, I would. I don't like having too many electronic gadgets and buying batteries and stuff. So I just got one of the manual ones. Yeah, I just had some crazy good food. That's from a French cafe, Agnebe. Oh, no, wait. That's from the Boulanger. Anyway, this was the first lab-grown meat burger I ever had. So you can see it looks like just like a real burger. And even the vegan cheese was like pretty good. Like I haven't had that kind of taste in my mouth in years. All right, here's the highlight from the ice cream place. Hot chocolate affogato. So yeah, it's like soft serve, and then when you come to the counter, when you're ready to pick it up, then they pour over the hot chocolate. And to me, this is way better than a typical espresso affogato with gelato. Well, it's a little different. Like the normal affogato has an espresso shot, so you get a nice caffeine boost, and the gelato's more creamy and delicate and whatever. But this one is just pure sweetness. It's like scrumptious. You want to just keep eating it. There are not sprayers in every toilet. Not in Hong Kong, not in America, not in many places. Definitely not in China. In India, you're lucky to even find toilet paper. So yeah, I'm really happy about my portable bidet purchase. This is a great highlight. Dragon's Back Trail, easy 1 hour hike, and you get the best views of all sides of Hong Kong. You can see it looks kind of like you're hiking along the back of a dragon. they're not reinventing the wheel with how they name things. This is a traditional affogato from Agnebu. Dim sum, that's fried milk. Oh man, yeah, the dim sum was like really nice. This is the portable bidet I got. Really simple, plastic, fill it up with water, squeeze, done. And is a funny translation. Disposable buttocks. 1990. Great deal. In Hong Kong dollars to US dollars, $20 is about $2.50 or something. Great deal. And this picture I took after I fixed my phone. It's a little bit higher quality. Gorgeous skyline. This is from ground level too. Like normally in Shanghai or Tokyo, New York, these cities, you have to go to the top of a skyscraper, wait in line, pay a fee, and then you get the good view. But here in Kowloon, this was a 5-minute walk from my guest house, and bam, it's just there, and it goes on. There's people jogging, and like there's cafes around here. Oh man, really nice. Some more French food. Yeah, that's it. Furthermore, about my trip back to Boston. So Hong Kong airport was fine, was totally perfect, except the gates were all closed down. So I had to it was just weird finding my gate, but that's it. Everything else perfect. Doha airport, totally perfect. I wanted to find a hot water dispenser. No luck on that. Everything else fine. One thing that was funny, I was going through security before going to my gate. It's the security right at the gate, actually, to board the airplane. So I see that, they're patting down people in front of me. And then it's my turn. I walk through the metal detector, and he goes, "Where's your mask?" So at the moment, I was wearing a face shield, the plastic face shield, but not the mask. And I said, "Oh shoot, it was in my pocket." So I put it in my bag, and he said, "All right, get it, put the mask," and that's it. I got the mask, and then I looked back, and he already forgot about me, so he didn't pat me down. I guess the mask is more important than all of the post 9/11 things that could happen. Well, that's old news. Now we're in a new era. Now it's not terrorism. Now it's biosecurity, all this nonsense. Get to Boston. It's exactly what I thought. Finally, I see some bullshit that I've been expecting to see. So at luggage claim in Logan Airport in Boston, they charge $6 to rent a cart that you put your baggage on to walk 500 meters or less to the road. Like every other airport in the world I've been to, those are free. Those little carts that you just put your luggage on to make it easier to move, those are always free. But no, America wants to be different, is so desperate on scamming people. Another thing to realize is there's a huge unemployment problem because of COVID, right? So this would be an excellent opportunity to hire someone to just be in charge of carts. It's a shit job, but some people are fucking dying out there. You give there's bound to be someone who's happy to have a job like that right now. And instead they just have this fucking machine collecting quarters, and well, it accepts credit cards, of course, because it has to be as convenient as possible so they can take your money. Yeah, of course, JA, you're right. I could have a knife or whatever, but God forbid not wearing a mask. And not only was it's not like I wasn't wearing a mask. I was wearing a full face shield with zero I'm going to struggle finding this word. It's not porous at all. Plastic is a complete shield. These masks, you can breathe through them. Like there's stuff going in and out of there. This face shield is a better mask. So it's not just not wearing a mask. It's not the kind of mask we need you to wear so that we feel better about going along with this scam. So to enter, so this is my third quarantine. I'm still in quarantine. It will finish in a few days. This Wednesday, I'll be done. So Massachusetts requires you to fill out a form before arriving. So I did. They actually checked it in Hong Kong before I went anywhere. And sure enough, they're checking for a third time as I arrive in Boston. Just the way that they checked was so incompetent. There's this old boomer guy as we're walking off the plane, and he's just stopping random people. He's got a clipboard. He's just stopping random people. Hey, did you fill out the form? And then meanwhile, 10 other people just walk past him. They could have totally not filled out the form. And he's just like, well, it's my job to stand here and pretend like, and of course the people he's choosing, you know, the most un-American quote people he sees, black, Muslim, whatever. I walked right by him. He didn't even look at me, of course. So it's like, dude, what's the point? If you're going to do something which is so incompetent, where there's so many people that can easily sneak through, why even bother? Like what happened in Hong Kong and Doha and most other grown-up places in the world is like they have a gate. It's not a person. It's like it's a lane, and there's like a desk, and like every single person going through is stopped, is checked, and they don't have to worry about being polite or rude. It's just, this is what we need to see. You show us the documents, the papers, and you get on going, and that's it. But not America, not white people land. And then, so we go through there, and we're waiting in line for passport control. And I hear someone from a desk behind us go, "Oh, guys, social distancing, maintain your distance." And what happened right after that? Nothing. Everyone just stayed in line at the same distance we were the whole time, and just life went on. Because it's so odd. You can tell from their tone of voice that they're just like, they don't care. They're only yelling at us because to cover their own ego and their own unfortunate situation, having to work there within a thing they don't like. If they actually cared about social distancing, they would put some sign, they put a thing on the ground like stand here, and then another circle a few feet away, or instead of just yelling at us, they would actually have a guy come over here. You go over here. You go wait over here. But no, they don't do that. They just want to yell at us so they feel like they're doing something productive, doing things for the sake of doing them. That's one way to say it. Yeah. So I get into passport control, of course, because of coronavirus. The expedited. The automatic machines, like if you're a U.S. citizen, you can just slide in your passport into the scanner and just walk right through. They shut down all those, of course, because the Rona. Anyway, so I thought he was a nice guy. I said, "How are you?" This passport control police officer guy said, "Oh, I'm great. How's it going? Where are you coming from? Hong Kong. What were you doing there?" That really stumbled me, man. I was like, I don't know. What was I doing there? I was waiting. That's what I was waiting, sir. Oh, sir, what do you mean? What do you mean waiting? I was like, I was waiting. I was trying to go to Europe. I couldn't go to Europe. I was just waiting to see if the world would open. Yeah, but what's our business? It's no business. I'm just like hanging out, living my life freely, not being compelled by other people such as yourself. And he kept, he's really pushing for his, legalistic answer. So, okay, I'm a teacher. I was in China teaching. Oh, you're a teacher. And I've got that same look so many times. Oh, that's good. Oh, I'm supposed to respect you now. Oh, you're a teacher. Fucking dick. Don't even waste your time respecting me, you fucking trash bag, human, subhuman bitch. I take that back. He was just doing his job, and he's supposed to be mean for no reason. Just try not to have a shitty job in your next lifetime. Just like be chill a bit more. Like I'm a U.S. citizen. I have every right to come back, even if I'm carrying the Rona. Why do you even ask? Like, why do you ask what my business was in the place I was before when I'm coming here? I mean, I guess it makes sense, but yeah, that's never happened to me before. I think it's only because of COVID-19 I was asked that question. It's always, what's your business in America? What's your business in the place where you're entering, right? That's always what they ask you. But he literally never asked me that. He only asked me, where did you come from and what was your business there? Because, like, what if maybe if I said, "Oh, I'm a nurse. I was a medical worker working with COVID patients," then maybe he might say, "Oh, well, we're gonna what? Imprison you? Make you do the coronavirus test or something?" I don't know. So my quarantine now, they text me every day saying, $500 fine if you're caught leaving your quarantine. I'm not going to say on the air right now if I have or have not leave my place of quarantine, which is actually quite a big house, and there's nobody around. Like, it's not Hong Kong or Taiwan or Singapore where they have some fancy high tech like location bracelet and they're like tracking your phone and like nobody cares here. That's why they just keep bugging you about how high the fine is, because that's their whole thing. That's their genius. Oh, by the way, Massachusetts has more COVID cases than like most other states of all 50 states. Democratic, blue state, big surprise. Retards. And now for the main attraction, the headline, the title of this stream. There is only one truth and only one lie. This is based off a blog post I did. Let's see, when did I do it? May 21, 2020. Not too long ago. June, July, August, September. 4 months ago. There we go. So much like the last stream I did where I'm going through these old blog posts, this one is still totally relevant. This is going to last forever, last for a long time and still be relevant. But there are a few things about that I want to add to this. And I want to talk about how it's relevant to COVID-19 and everything else that's happening. So let's do it. Let's go do it together. There is only one truth. Sacrificing oneself for others, taking the long and difficult road because it is real, noble, and worthwhile. shining light on darkness, never giving in to hate or lust, eager to give praise to others. Peace, coming from absolute knowledge and genuine experience, community, family. So that was just my best poetic attempt at talking about goodness. That's great. Truth, goodness, beauty, it's all the same thing. And there's only one lie, seeing oneself as the Lord of one's reality. This is, of course, natural, right? Like, this is why we always use that pronoun I see, I do. In a way, we are the Lord of our own consciousness and our own experience, but we are not the Lord. We are not the only Lord. We are just the Lord of what we are Lord of. And when we forget our place, we start living a lie. Doing only what's expedient and profitable. Why not, right? Pleasing one's senses because what is immediately verifiable and gratifying is more real than the unseen future. Being defensive, being offensive, sacrificing others for oneself, corrupting innocence, fear, passion, lust, hate, duplicity. These are the things that come to mind for me when I think of the one lie and what people are like when they follow the one lie. Sacrificing others for oneself. I'm thinking most of all about like Bill Gates, George Soros. They are masters at this. Duplicity is the big one. That's the one that keeps coming up again and again. I saw the original Star Wars movies again. Actually, I saw all of them, but my favorite ones are actually the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3, because I like the politics in it. I like how you can follow the path in all three movies over 6 hours of content. You see how one guy becomes just some senator in a small little outlying planet, and then the emperor of the whole galaxy. And one of the main methods is duplicity. He says, like, he'll play the victim when he needs to play the victim to get the upper hand. He'll play the victimizer when he needs to be the victimizer. He's always switching faces to do what's most advantageous. That's evil. That is the lie, following the lie. And sure, it is profitable and it does work, but it is not the good path. That's just not the right way to do it. I'm trying to think, is maybe it's justifiable sometimes, but not really. If you're honest and pure, you're never going to be duplicitous. You'll always be the same self that you are all the time. And now I'm thinking about myself in this regard. So like, I am always honest and I'm always myself, but I mean, you could say, like, others may say that I seem duplicitous sometimes because, like, when I'm teaching kindergarten, I'm going to be in a very high energy kind of persona, whereas when I'm, I don't know, like in the dojo obeying the sensei, that's a totally different kind of thing. But it's the same self in both cases. I'm not putting on a different face to gain something. I'm not even putting on a different face. I'm just acting according to the circumstance as best I can. Anyway, there's only one truth and only one lie. Just as the truth is only one, seen in different ways, to different people, at different times and places, there is only one lie. One other news item I forgot to share with y'all is I will be soon publishing the Ethos audiobook for free. I finished recording all of it, and I've started the editing process, and then I'll have to design a good cover for it, and then I'll publish it. It'll be free everywhere. Virtue and vice are one. Truth and ignorance are one. From one comes two. From two comes everything else. Everything else comes back to one. All right, that's actually crazy deep and needs to be expanded like a lot. So most people in their whole lives never get to this point of saying virtue and vice are one. That is a very transcendental statement. And this is one you'll see Lord Krishna saying many times in Bhagavad Gita. And from a certain perspective, it is true. From the perspective of ethos, it is actually not exactly true. Ethos uses three. It's a system of three items. The number three comes again and again and again in so many verses, but you have two different extremes, a excess or a deficiency, too much or too little, and then virtue is the third item in the middle. So we don't have one or two, we have three, and the more you get good at juggling and balancing these three components, the closer you go back to the one, to the virtue, which is always there. It's a bit more than that. This looks like a nice comment. Let's read it. But the frustrating thing for people who strive to be honest and pure is that they see people who are not honest and pure winning at life in terms of material gain, which can be depressing. Totally true. I've suffered from this a lot in my life. I don't suffer from it anymore, perhaps because I'm actually quite successful materially now. Not very, but I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable, and I also don't have material ambition anymore. Like if I had, let's say, $100,000 in the bank, but I absolutely needed to have a $2 million home in, I don't know, Italy. If for whatever reason that was like a need in my psychology, and I saw really shitty, evil people with all this money, and I'm trying to do the right thing, and I know it's going to be like 20 years before I can afford this house that I need, maybe to do some business or whatever else, that'll suck. That'll totally suck. So this is just an obstacle, a stepping stone on the way, on the path. You just got to keep going. So it's hard to get to this position I'm talking about with just ethos. You really want some ananda, some spiritual bliss from religion or yoga or psychedelics, or you need something like that, which will really push down or eliminate a lot of your material ambitions and your ego. Once those things go away, then these problems, they're just not there anymore. It's just not a big deal. Even if you're dirt broke poor, there's a real serene contentment in following the truth, the good and the beautiful, and you just stop caring about the material world in general, regardless of who's successful and who's not successful. So eventually it will dissipate and disappear. I guess another thing that someone might be thinking, like JA, is, well, I've got a wife, I've got kids, I've got mouths to feed. And yeah, that just makes it more difficult. So this is one of the many reasons why in the Indian Vedic tradition, the many masters have said that actually the most dangerous thing on the spiritual path is women. And not even so much in terms of the sexual temptation, but more like even when you do it right and you have a wife who loves you and you love her and you have children, that can still be a crazy trap because you're trapped in the home. You've basically just designed a prison for yourself, and you've got to be constantly maintaining the household. Whereas like the spiritual path requires independence in a weird way. Like you need to be adaptable. You have to be ready to just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and the more you're worrying about, oh, but I have to do something for them or for this person or that person, that'll interfere with the main goal, so to speak. Let's go on for now. One can be good or bad. Until we are at one with the one, we must constantly choose between good and bad, virtue and vice, truth and ignorance. This is another crazy deep verse which could go on for hours. What does it even mean to be one with the one? The one is, it could be God, it could be the universe, it could be the golden mean. I really like to keep with just numbers though and geometry. I think it's more pure, but it's also more like easy to conceptualize. I'm still working on how best to explain this kind of language to others, but this is another common problem many people are in, is their life is a tennis match. They're constantly being hit back and forth from one side to the other. And they think they're following something, really good, and then something else comes along, and then they go over there, and then something, and then, oh, but that's really painful. Let's dive away from that, and then you're just pushed into another animal farm, so to speak. So what's the way out? You got to avoid the number two, the dualities. These are dualities, and the dualities are there as a test. It's not a place where you stay. It's a place where you stay temporarily until you find the path, and then you get back on the path and stay there. And the path can be three, where you have two things and then a third thing that mediates the two, and you stay focused on harmonizing those three elements. Or you have the one. You just stay on that one long, hard, narrow, true path, and you just stay on it. And you're bound to win. Solid refutation from J.A. Yes, but many people are too independent and unhappy, not tethered by responsibility to others. Totally true. Yet again, another reason to follow the golden mean. So responsibility is a perfect example of a virtue. We can be too responsible or not responsible enough. If we take on too much responsibility for, some guy in Africa we've never met before, then we can't be responsible for ourselves. And if we don't take enough responsibility, then we're a snowflake boomer. So how can responsibility work with this? Yeah, to stay at one with the one, on the one true path, to stay in truth, it demands responsibility. And when you're staying on the path of the lie, it's a constant it's a constant effort to reduce responsibility or to lie to yourself and say, oh, I'm not actually responsible for this, and making excuses and because the more responsible you are, the more guilty you can be. And if you're following the lie, you really don't want to be guilty. So yeah, responsibility is crucial. Ethos is the mechanics of the two, guiding us towards virtue. Accepting that unity with the one is difficult and rare. Okay, so mechanics of the two. By mechanics of the two, I mean the three. So when you're bouncing back and forth between two options in a duality, that's just the two. But when you're dealing with, when you have a third person perspective of the two, the mechanics of the two, now you're in three. You have the one and the two, and then this third thing, this third awareness, which can choose one or the other or the middle in between them. So that's ethos. Ethos is this is what I wanted to correct about this blog post, what I've been trying to talk about in this stream. Ethos is the three, and it shows up many times in the book. And also in the Bhagavad Gita, you hear this so many times. The three worlds, the three material modes. The number three is just like crazy important. Of course, there's the Holy Trinity for the Christians. I was just reading this recently. What was it? Was it chapter 9? Yeah, chapter 9, verse 1. The three common conditions of character to be avoided: vice, incontinence, and bestiality. And then also in chapter 1, it comes very soon. Yeah, verse 5. There are three most favored lives: gratification, political activity, and study. And then the next verse, again, three objects of choice correspondingly: the fine, the expedient, or pleasant. And then there are three contraries: shameful, harmful, or painful. So that's 9 items in 2 verses. 3 trinities in 2 verses. So don't be underestimating the 3. It's a very useful number, actually. Another important part of wisdom I learned from Dr. Richard Bandler, who I would consider my psychology master. He says that actually, when you have 2 things you're thinking about, you don't have choice. There's actually no freedom and there's no choice when you only have 2 options. Because if you're smart, you'll just research these 2 options and you'll find out which one is best. And then as soon as you know which one is best, you'll just do it. So it's not actually a choice. You're just lacking information. And then as soon as you get the information, you just do it. It's not a choice. If you know the best thing to do and you choose the less bet, you just won't make that choice. We're not built that way. Well, you may be saying, what about incontinence? Incontinence is not a choice. That's a little bit different. But anyway, when you have 3 options, that's when you can actually choose. That's the first time when freedom of choice comes into our psychology, comes into our mind and our consciousness. When we have just one option, it's not an option. That's all we got. When we have 2, it's one or the other, and you just study it a little bit, you find which one is better, and then you do it. But when you have 3 options, now you actually have to make a choice. I guess you could refute it by saying, oh, you study it even more, and then, yeah, you'll find that one is eventually the best. Yeah, that could always be true. Almost done here. Ananda is transcendence of the 2. Ananda is one, liberation and ultimate peace. So, yeah. In summary, ethos is 3, Ananda is 1, ethos Ananda is 4. Maybe, I don't know. I just made a new blog post earlier today, vanquishing fake news. So this is in response to the social dilemma, the documentary on Netflix, which I recently saw about how, big tech algorithms are destroying the world and everything. Yeah, it's all true. And not a surprise to me, but it's funny, like all these people talking about, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to, we're all polarized. There's fake news everywhere. And my fake news is different from your fake news because it's all customized too. What do we do? And it's funny. Like I'm joking to myself when I see all these like fancy rich white people in their well-made Netflix documentary. What are we gonna do? I'm thinking in the back of my head, all right, they're gonna sell me something eventually, right? Sell me something which works like well enough where you're kind of happy you bought it, but it doesn't actually fix the problem. So the solution is always been there. Um, you can follow Aristotle and Ethos. You can follow Ananda and Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas, or so many other paths. Taoism works. Confucianism works. All of the ancient wisdom practices, they work. Stoicism, also fine. If you're a practicing Stoic and you're like, oh, all this fake news and all this polarization, it's messing me up. You're a shit Stoic. It means you're not doing it right. You have to actually do it properly. And then all this modern world stuff is just a joke. It's not like, it's only difficult and a big deal for so many people because you want it to be. At some level, you want to be cheated. You want to think it's challenging. And you're right if you want to be right. But I, like all of my Chinese friends and fam, know that the simple path is the best path. And not only that, but the more simple, the better. This is like, where that Confucius say meme comes from. Confucius say, dog hungry, dog eat. Oh, that's not a joke. Like that's actually Chinese culture. That's actually how they think, how they talk. It's not just Confucius. It's like every Chinese person, and to different degrees, of course, but it works. That's actually how wisdom works. Knowledge is different, and knowledge is very complicated. And knowledge is where people say, "Oh well, the size of the SARS virus is 0.02 microns, and the mask only filters out at 32 microns, and therefore it is not effective." Ugh! And then wisdom says, "I'm healthy. I have a good immune system. I don't have to worry about anything. Period. If I do get a virus, then I'll just deal with it the best I can, like anything else." That's it. That's wisdom. There's no research. There's no, oh, researching which news is fake, which news is real. Oh, what do I do? I already know. It's already inside me. I just need to tease it out. It's already there, and I already know it. This is wisdom. Are there any questions from the peanut gallery? Any comments? My sleep schedule has also changed quite a bit. I in Hong Kong, I was only teaching at night, and now I'm only teaching in the morning. So I'll be finishing this stream soon because I'm waking up early these days. But yeah, I was definitely a little bit jet lagged coming back. But not bad. Like, you know, I got back, I went to sleep, and then yeah, I wasn't jet lagged, but I did have to just change my sleeping, my wake up times a little bit. It's also like the climate is different here. Like, um, yeah. And in Hong Kong, in my guest house, like there was zero natural light. My body was in a totally different kind of situation. Whereas here, like I'm much more close to nature. So like, um, as the sun is rising, my body is saying, okay, like wake up. But I was typically waking up around 8 a.m. in Hong Kong. And now like my first class will start at 7:30. So I've got to wake up at like minimum 7:15, typically like earlier than that, 6:30 or something. But I'm already used to it now, so it's no problem. I can even stay up a little bit later tonight. It'll be fine. I also don't have as many students anymore. I don't know why they left me. 7:30 is nothing, guy. My devotee friends are waking up at 4 a.m. and 4:30 and 5 a.m. every day, no matter what their schedule is. Maybe one day I'll start doing that. I'm not sure. I just don't care. That's why I don't like, I only do what's required of me, and the rest of it I just don't care about. Once again, this is like Chinese style. Like, keep it simple. And then the more simple it is, the more you can focus on shit that actually matters. And it also gives you stability and resilience. There's a really good quotes in the end of the first section of chapter 9, verse 35. There is pleasure in rest more than in change. Variation in everything is sweet, as the poet says, because of some inferiority. For just as it is the inferior human being who is prone to variation, so also the nature that needs variation is inferior, since it is not simple, decent, or well-founded. Once again, Aristotle just killing it. Like, this verse is everything you need to know about incontinence in a single verse. The cure to like one of this main areas of vice that cripples our character is just be simple. Because the more complicated you are, the more shit you have to juggle around and try to figure out how to deal with it. Here's the key: the nature that needs variation is inferior. So it's not just about being simplistic, it's that if you don't need variation, if all you need is a glass of water and a small bowl of rice, and you don't need anything else, you it's there's like a strength there. It also reminds me of the Saint Augustine quote that a man has as many masters as he has vices. So the more simple our nature is, that also means the fewer vices we have, also means the fewer masters we'll have, and it also means the fewer people who can take advantage of us. It's all there. It's all there in one verse. Yes, early to rise, early to bed. That is backed by thousands of years of experience. scientific research and common sense. Basically, what you want to do is be all right. So when it comes to the body's intelligence is already there and it's already perfect. For me at least, I've always known that. Like my body tells me exactly when I'm overeating, undereating, what to eat. My body tells me this all the time. And typically, if you just listen to it, you'll be totally fine for things like sleeping, eating. Now, for sex, you can get into trouble. Like, especially if you're a man, your body might tell you, "Oh yeah, you should just penetrate her. Just bring her into the bathroom and don't worry about wearing a condom, like you can just do that." No, that's when you need your mind, your intelligence to step in and say, no, that is a sinful activity. We're not going to do that. And of course, sometimes your body, well, this really doesn't happen to me, but it's possible that your body will say, like if you're eating sugar, your body will tell you, I'm not hungry and your body will tell you, I'm not full, I'm hungry and I need to keep eating. But reality is you've already been full and you definitely shouldn't keep eating. So, but that's actually really rare for me. My body's, it could be because my character is improving. I don't know what it is, but yeah, my body's like totally on my side now. He never tells me to do anything bad. He only tells me to do something good. And actually, I have the problem now where my mind is the problem. My intelligence is sometimes overrides the body and says, yeah, that's right, but I might as well have one more little ice cream. Hey, it's not that bad, which is true. That's why it's so convincing. Booze, booze, booze. Okay, I think we'll call it a night. Thanks for playing. I want to tell everyone here to stay human and stay wise. That's all we need to do. If you follow only your feelings and your senses, you're not stupid, you're an animal. Okay, so first be a human and then just stay that way. And then stay wise. Don't get suckered in by all these people with their science and their fancy pants things. And, oh, well, I got to check my Facebook and and then what does the new news say? What does the new article said? And I better keep up with the new music that's coming out too. No. There is the same good stuff today that was the same good stuff 1,000 years ago. And it's the same bad stuff too. There's only one truth. There's only one lie. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in our world. Nothing has changed at all. When you live on the ethical and spiritual realm, as I do, you'll see nothing has changed at all. And because of that, it's so liberating because with all the technology we have, it's so much more fun. And with all Ben and Jerry's ice cream, right? Need I say more? Can't get that shit 500 years ago. Have a good one, y'all. Peace. Hare Krishna.